Hello everyone, welcome to today's mini episode where we finish the leg of the journey that we were unable to complete last week. Today, we are finally going to take the next step in beating Anastasia plus one other battle against Tane. This is the 5th episode of the series, and let's just jump right into it. If you want to know the rules of the run, they're in the description below, and without further ado, let's get going. Although the level cap has been raised by a whopping single level, I only battle a few of the trainers in the gym before heading on to challenge Anastasia herself. Although this battle was hard, I honestly don't think that there will ever be a truly hard battle again after beating Audrey like we did last week. If you haven't seen that episode, go see it because I guarantee it'll be significantly better than this one. And the entirety of both battles only spans a couple of hours. I did have to throw myself into them a few times in order to get a good strategy down that actually worked, but after a while, I was finally able to lock one down against Anastasia. I had to lead with my cargo in order to get the type advantage over Klefki. The biggest nuisance with Klefki, however, is that it knows Swagger. I'm not exactly sure how many times I lost because I hit myself in confusion over and over and over again, but I think it was at least 10, or maybe even more. Still, I was finally able to break through the confusion and land that flamethrower to bring Klefki to under half health, and pushing Anastasia to switch out to Electivire. Electivire knows Earthquake, so I'm aware that switching out is absolutely necessary. I send out Gastrodon to take advantage of that type advantage as well as the electricity immunity. I hit with Body Slam to pop the balloon, heal back to full health, then use Mud Slap to start taking advantage of that accuracy decrease. Unfortunately, Anastasia seems to have the same strategy as I have in using potions to heal whenever her Pokemon have low health, so it takes a really long time. But Anastasia does run out of potions eventually, and lucky my Gastrodon can finally finish Electivire with some Body Slams. Next is Metagross, so I send out Raticate. What? A normal type against a steel type, you might ask? I must be stupid. If you remember, Raticate has two moves that ignore resistances in Super Fang and Endeavor. Though it doesn't happen in the winning battle, usually when I go up against this Metagross can one-shot Raticate, so I give him a Focus Sash, and the plan is to use Endeavor to bring Metagross down to 1 HP, and then use Quick Attack to very quickly take him out. Well, as you can see, in this case, that doesn't work, and Raticate goes down, but not before bringing Metagross down to at least the red. I send Gastrodon back out, and 2 Mud Slaps does the job in finishing off Metagross. Aegislash is next, and I send in Rapidash. Rapidash gets one shot, but I do manage to hit a Fire Blast to both burn him and knock him down to half health. I send in my cargo, and Anastasia uses a full heal, so I'm able to finish off Aegislash with a free flamethrower. Rotom comes out next, and this one is water type, but I keep my cargo in anyway just so that I can take one move to heal Gastrodon back to full health. Luckily, Hydro Pump misses, so I can switch to Gastrodon instead, meaning I don't have to lose my cargo, and that is pretty nice. The trouble with Rotom is that since its ability is Levitate, I have no good moves for it, so I try to get the chance accuracy drop with Muddy Water. It never happens, but Anastasia eventually switches back out to Klefki. Klefki uses Swagger again. I hit myself in confusion once, heal, then realize that Gastrodon is really doing no damage against Klefki at all, especially after it uses Substitute, so instead I switch back over to my cargo. Foul Play hits, but does almost no damage, then Flame Body burns Klefki. It uses Swagger, confusing me, but I heal instead of attacking, and Klefki's burn eventually causes it to faint. Rotom comes back, and I send in Gastrodon to try to get that accuracy drop. I fail, and Anastasia switches back out to Magnezone. Flash Cannon does almost nothing to me, and Mud Slap is 4 times super effective to wipe out half of Magnezone's health on an attack that is that weak. I heal 3 times because Magnezone keeps landing chance critical hits, putting me in the risk zone. After the first standard Flash Cannon, after all those crits in a row, I use one more Mud Slap finally to finish him off. Rotom is the final Pokemon, and I only have 2 Muddy Waters left, but I finally get that accuracy drop. Unfortunately, I'm unable to do enough damage, and Rotom keeps using Rest to heal itself. I eventually concede to switching out to something more useful, like Kangaskhan. 1 critical Dizzy Punch brings it to half health, 1 more brings it to the red, Rotom misses a Thunderbolt, and 1 more Dizzy Punch wins the battle. I'm not going to say that this battle was easy, it's just that the reality is that the difficulty level for this one is kinda dwarfed by the battle against Audrey from the last episode. There really isn't any anything else to say about it. On the much brighter side, we now have 5 badges, and we only have 3 more to go before we can challenge the Elite Four. Also, before I move on to the next battle, I want to address something. In the background, you can watch some of my failed attempts against Tane while I explain why I'm battling him before getting a new team. I did beat the gym leader, right? Shouldn't I be capturing a new team? Well, not yet. Though I haven't mentioned it up to this point, an extra little rule I have with this run is that if there is a battle that comes literally right after the gym leader with no in-between steps that restricts me from accessing the next area before I can move on, I can still use my current team to fight that battle before moving on to the next area. I did that when I defeated the Augur in Helios City, and I'm doing that again now. This is simply just to clear the air on the matter. Anyway, now that you've seen me lose enough times in hyperspeed, it's time to move on to the winning battle. Tane leans out with Grumpig, the weakest Pokemon on his team. Although it is his weakest and you would think it might be great for setting up on, that really doesn't exist with this team. It's a pretty good team. And after losing several times to him, I now know that the one and only goal can be to take Tane out as fast as possible. Grumpig is easy as 2 Sucker Punches finish him off. Luxray comes out next, and it's also a pretty simple battle. I send out Gastrodon and get some accuracy drops with Mud Slap. Heal a couple of times, and let this battle last as long as possible until Tane uses up all his potions and Luxray eventually goes down. Somewhere in there, I made sure to heal Kangaskhan at the same time. Pyroar is next, and I keep Gastrodon out thinking it will be an easy win. But instead, it turns out that Pyroar has a 4-time super effective hidden power move, obviously Grass type, and Gastrodon bites the dust pretty darn fast. Only 1 Mud Slap lands to get that good accuracy drop, which is fairly necessary. I send out my cargo and Earth Power brings Pyroar to the yellow health, and then he's withdrawn for Mega Charizard. Mega Charizard is a real problem because it both knows Outrage and never seems to hit itself in confusion after using 2 or 3 Outrages. I do have some revives, but if I want to win this battle, I'm going to need some confusion luck with Charizard in order to land hits in general. At full health, Kangaskhan can withstand 1 Outrage. On the first pass with Kangaskhan, Outrage hits, Charizard becomes confused, I revive Gastrodon, Charizard hits itself in confusion, and I land 1 reversal to bring it down to below half health. Very useful. Next time Kangaskhan comes out, I heal instead of reviving Gastrodon, I get hit with Outrage, then heal again. Then it hits itself in confusion. I select reversal expecting the next one to get through, it doesn't, and Charizard hits itself in confusion again, so reversal does almost nothing. Then Charizard hits itself in confusion again, causing it to faint. Pyroar comes back, so I choose not to switch. Sucker Punch has priority, and Pyroar goes down quite easy. Zekrom is next, so I take time to revive Gastrodon before Kangaskhan goes down. At this point, I realize my mistake. I was supposed to send Eradicate in with a Focus Sash to take 1 hit, use Endeavor, then use Quick Attack in order to take out Zekrom. However, I forgot to equip the Focus Sash, and Eradicate faints immediately from 1 single Outrage. Next I send in Delta Chandelure, finally getting some use as Outrage doesn't affect it at all because it's partly Fairy type. Fusion Bolt does most of Chandelure's health, but 1 Lava Plume burns Zekrom, which is very handy. At 19 HP, I revive Kangaskhan, then faint, send out Kangaskhan, revive Chandelure, faint, then send out Chandelure. Fusion Bolt hits, but since Zekrom had a special attack drop on its last turn, Chandelure takes the hit, gets a speed increase, becomes faster, and lands an extra Lava Plume before fainting. Zekrom is in critical condition as Kangaskhan comes out. Outrage doesn't even do enough to take it out as it had another special drop, and Zekrom goes down to the burn. 1 left. Kyurem. I leave Kangaskhan out hoping to outspeed, but it doesn't, and it goes down. I send out Gastrodon next since I know it can take all the attacks that Kyurem has. Unfortunately, I don't have many power points left to work with. I'm frequently forced to heal, but I do get 2 Mud Slaps off over time, but then Kyurem starts to use Substitute. It takes more than 1 attack to fade the substitution, and every time it fades, Kyurem just uses it again, and I slowly run out of attacking moves. But eventually, so does Kyurem. Once Kyurem started using Substitution, even though there already was one in place, I knew that it wouldn't be long till it completely ran out of moves and started using Struggle. However, I had reached a point where I was using Recover on every single turn because I had run out of attacking moves myself. Funny enough, both Pokemon actually started to use Struggle on the exact same turn. I switched over to Eradicate so that I don't keep getting recoil damage. Quick Attack never does a lot of damage, but the point was only ever to push Kyurem to taking itself out with all these struggles. Finally, it happens, and it's for the win. Finally, this leg of the journey is over. I can say goodbye to this team, but not without acknowledging once again what this team achieved in the last episode. This team literally did the impossible. If you haven't seen that episode, I beg you, go back and watch it. You won't regret it. It is one of the best Pokemon battles you'll have ever seen. A half fire type team won the second Audrey fight on hard mode. And for those who don't know who Audrey is, she specializes in water types, really powerful water types, including Kyogre. I understand that not too much exciting happened on this episode, and that may be true, but it is just a mini episode. It was never meant to be as big as the other ones or as big as the next one. If I had to choose an MVP Pokemon, honestly, the whole team. Everyone, really, except for my Cargo, played a massively pivotal role in the fight against Audrey. I understand that Gastrodon as an overall was the biggest reason for beating Anastasia and Tane and Audrey, but this team and the way in which it won the Audrey battle has just put me in a place where I can't think it to be right to put one of these guys above the others. If I was forced to pick one though, it would be Gastrodon. In the leg overall, it played the biggest role in winning the battles. But sadly, it has come time to say goodbye to both Gastrodon and this entire team. Without a doubt, this team is the one that I am the most disappointed to say goodbye to. I spent more time with this team than any other, just trying ways and strategies to overcome the obstacle. And I would love to see how far I can take this team before having to switch some Pokemon out for different members. But for now, they're just gonna go in the box. You served us well, team. The best I've ever had the privilege of training to victory. And as for you guys, thanks for being here. I can't wait to move on to the next section. The next one is a long one, so I better start recording. So long, and see you next week.